Hi, Gerhard, Kathleen. Great for you joining us. I've been watching your show on why and how important you mentioned Simon Sinek and everything like that.
Yeah.
One of the things that fascinates me about your particular practice, if I can call it that, in coaching people and really mentoring people as well, you deal a lot with the medical fraternity, as wide and as broad that is. We've gone from general practitioners, physiotherapists, we've got hearing, we've got, just healing people themselves, like the Reiki, this whole gamut. How do you, when you're talking to this fraternity, uncover their why? And do they all seem to have a very similar why, but being expressed in different forms?
It's a really good question because I think initially when you ask any health professional, why do you do what you want to do? The initial response is, because I want to help people. And then when you point out, well, there are lots of different ways to help people, it doesn't necessarily need to be medical, that gets them thinking a little bit further. And particularly, I would say, for people like physios, chiros, psychologists, when you get down to it, they actually all do have quite a different why.
Yes.
It's just helping them explain and understand how their why is different to others.
Does understanding their why, Gerhard, help them? Because I can imagine as a health professional, they're there helping people, but now they've got to trade that help for money. And I can imagine some of the conflicts going inside of it.
Yes.
So I'm meant to just do this. Does understanding the why help them breach that and understand their real value?
It does. First of all, we explain to them that making profit is okay because you need to keep the doors open to keep on helping people. You need to upgrade your equipment. You need to go on conferences and get updated on the latest. So the profit part, that is good. For example, the one client about 2 weeks ago actually realized that education, that is what he wants to do. So after studying all of this time and having all his clients, he realized, but I want to do education, but I want hands-on as well. And suddenly, the way they looked at their business changed. Because now we're having a education part and we have a hands-on part. And the way we're going to educate, that was quite interesting to see how we're going to do it. So the why, the how, the what suddenly just inspire them.
I think something you've raised that's really important there is, to a degree, your why may also determine your business model. So you have people who, a bit like myself, I'm sort of very driven sort of for the greater good. So I want to try and help as many people as I can. But that does mean that I can't afford the luxury of 2 hours with every person because you want to help as many people as you can. So my business model has to be different. If I believe that spending 3 hours with every person is really what's going to allow me to do the best intervention, I'm able to do that, but then I have to look at my business model to say, well, how do I make that work for a business that I can still look after my family, keep my doors open, but give the service I believe people need with my skill? So understanding your why also helps us to assist with developing that business model.
Yeah. For example, as well, is once a client realized their why, they actually understood that I need to employ another person so I can make double the difference. So now from I'm the only person doing it, getting another person, and say, okay, but maybe if I come out and I employ 2 more people, now I've got 3 people, I can make a bigger difference. So it's not looking inside anymore, it's looking out.
So this is taking, so people who may be in the medical field, it doesn't matter if they're Reikis or masseurs or general practitioners, but there may be 1 man or 2 men, like solo operators, solo entrepreneurs, I suppose, and they can't make the breakthrough. You're saying that maybe the breakthrough is in understanding the why, because that'll give you the business model that'll just change your world.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I think
Is that scary for some of them?
It is, and I think having you have different whys. So for some people, their why is I want to be clinical, I want to be hands-on, I want to be in my practice every single day. Some people, it's I've discovered this new amazing technique, but I'm only one person.
Yes.
So my why is to get this technique to as many people as possible. Now that's a very different. That's a very different motivation. That's a very different why, and that's a very different strategy to achieving that. So understanding your why and what's really driving you may be quite different and maybe quite confronting and even a little overwhelming when you actually reach that breakthrough to realize why you're truly doing and what for some people even what their life's work is really about.
But the first question is, where do I start?
Yes.
And the question is, get a coach.
Yeah. I was going to say, because when you're by yourself and you've gone through and you may have had a small breakthrough, or maybe you work with a coach who suddenly said, well, here's your why, or they've discovered it themselves working with you. A lot of people must just go, I don't know if I can do that, Gerhard. Do you get that?
All the time. And once you sit down and say, let's put this on paper. Let's do the blueprint, your business blueprint. And it's on paper. Everything makes sense.
And I think the way I think of it is when you know your why and you're very clear on your own values that you can communicate them, you almost have a compass. Now you know where
Yes.
you're going. What coaching does is it brings the GPS. It kind of goes, well, yes, we want to get there, and there are a whole lot of different ways we can get there. Other people have walked this path before you. Here's the processes that work.
Yeah.
Here's the mistakes that have happened. So instead of doing this, let's go from here to here.
Well, you know what I say, a clever person learns from his mistakes, and a genius learns from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
So that's what we help you, is to learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
When you work in this field, now I'm picking on this because I know you specialise in this as one of your main areas of these medical. How do they, I mean, you said they get through the conflict of money by knowing they need to have the money to grow. Do they also come then with that, well, hold on, I need to better justify this to my patients? Do they feel they have to have a justification to the patients why they charge what they charge or why they take that sort of money? How do you get them past these obstacles?
My opinion, what I
Yeah.
saw is that, especially in the one audiology practice, people want to pay. And the one day the client came up with a card to pay, and they said, no, you don't have to pay today. The industry sometimes, I think, is responsible for people saying they don't want to pay. People are prepared to pay if they get good service.
Yeah.
So you don't have to justify.
Yeah.
You don't have to justify your services.
And I think that's, again, the core. If people understand your why and you're authentic and they truly believe you have their best interests at heart, and you really do have their best interests at heart, I think people don't have an issue paying. I think it is more mindset.
It is
of
mindset.
Medical, allied health professionals that sort of
Yeah.
feel a bit guilty.
Now, from my experience of meeting health professionals from all walks of life, I find that they're quite reserved people in themselves. People think they're extroverted because they go and talk to people all day long, they're quite reserved. Do you find that reservedness, I don't know if you found the same thing, but if you have, they go, oh, I'm not quite sure about. Do they limit their dream until they start talking to someone like yourselves?
I think everybody does that. There's so much self-doubt. And the one thing, if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect your patients or your clients to believe in you? You need to go over that hurdle and say, I've got self-belief. I'm an expert in my field. I know what I'm talking about. Okay? And you have to tell yourself that. But if you don't, and it's not only in the medical field. Most managers you go and talk to got self-doubt.
I think many of us are waiting for someone to give us permission. And also I think, and this is sort of in the allied health field, we often have professional organisations where there's often pressure to conform, and if you believe that something new is going to work, or you believe a particular technique is going to work, you sometimes really sort of putting yourself out there. So part of coaching is sort of giving you that confidence to, if it's something you truly believe in, something that you've researched, something that you want to do, to have that confidence, because if you're waiting for someone to give you permission, that's not going to happen. You're going to wait a very long time. You have to go out there and you have to position yourself as a person who knows and a person that offers the service.
Can I ask you this? These are quite personal things. So someone looking, whether from the allied health field now or a business owner who's going, look, I do have a dream, but I've never had the courage to tell anybody. In what environment do they discuss that with you? Do you do it in their workplace? Do you like them out of their workplace? What's your preferred, or does it just vary for different people?
For me personally, I like to take them out of the workplace, especially in an open space, where they can hear the birds and feel the sun, and there's other people. It's just to get that neurons firing in the brain, and they get ideas.
And also, I think that they aren't interrupted. If you're having a meeting at work,
Yes.
inevitably, it's just the nature of medical practice. You're going to get interrupted.
But it's also for us is to build a relationship with our clients. We need to connect with them, and there's that trust that they feel that they can open up to you. So if we don't have a connection with our clients, then it's very difficult. We can't work with people.
How you said something really interesting there, and I've heard you talk about this before, Gerhard, that you like to take people out of their environments, and you mentioned so you can feel the sun and hear the birds.
Yeah.
How important is that to put them in an environment that's not work, that is the birds, is the sun, is looking at the flowers, and being able to just, and you said it fires their neurons.
Yeah, because when you're at work, we creatures of habits. So we come in, we do the same thing, take people out of their environment, and they experience something different. It's the same if you've got a problem at work and you go to the shopping centre and you walk down the aisle and suddenly, there's the answer. You wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, there's the answer. It's because you're out of that environment. So I do believe in taking people out of the environment, and also companies, if they do their year planning or their next quarter. When I worked in corporate, I always took my staff out, and we went to a very nice place where there was animals outside and zebras, and it was just the ideas that came out of the staff was just amazing because I took them out of the environment.
Wow. Do you find the same thing, Kathleen, that it works for them taking out of their environment? It's one of the key things to break whatever barriers, self-imposed barriers that are stopping them?
Absolutely. I think it's about almost sort of metaphorically getting out of your comfort zone. It's just getting your brain into a different space, and also having your senses activated.
Yes.
It's just getting different parts of the brain going and really being engaged. And also when you're in a new environment, it's easier to be completely present. When you're at a work environment, there are other things happening at the back of your mind. Even if you're trying to focus, there's that report on the desk that hasn't been done. I must remember to do, I haven't phoned. When you're in a different environment, it's easier to be fully present and to just, it's almost like having a little mini holiday, because you've just got to give yourself permission for the next 3 hours. I'm just going to focus on this. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about anything else.
For someone out there now that knows they can be more than what they are and really wants it, but no one's ever supported them on that journey, how can they engage with Vital Signs Consulting? What's the best way?
I think it's just to have that courage to pick up the phone, make an appointment, and have the first coffee.
And one of the things that we really encourage people to do is to just commit to 2 complimentary sessions. So coaching, I mean, when we first started telling our family about it, they were like, oh, that's such a scam. Like, why would you need a coach? People are very comfortable with sporting. Like, oh, of course you need a good coach. Yes, you want to learn to play tennis. Of course you're going to get a good coach. But when it comes to life skills and to business skills, people are very skeptical. And you don't really know what to expect. Having one session isn't really useful, because coaching is about giving you strategies, but it's also keeping you accountable.
Yes.
So you really need to have 2 sessions to experience what it's like to have a coach and what it means to have a coach. So if anybody is sort of wanting to know how to start, I'd really encourage them, get hold of us either through the website. We'll give Gerhard a call. Great thing with technology is we get onto Skype at a time that suits you anywhere around the world.
But we do.
Yeah, we really do. And it's just having that experience, because having had 2 sessions, firstly, you're going to get benefit no
Doesn't
one
matter
that
what.
we've given sessions to hasn't found something in it.
Yeah.
But also you'll have a sense of what it's going to be able to do for you.
I will say one thing about coaching. When you hear the likes of Warren Buffett, Richard Branson, and all the rest
Oh,
of them
yes.
all got coaches, and
You-
I must
you-
admit, you
Yeah.
must look and go, really? Do they? And they'll all go, absolutely, we need our coaches.
Yes.
Absolutely. And the coaches are, you may outgrow a coach. That
Yes.
certainly happened to our coach where he's kind of gone, well, these people could get me to here, but now I need, who's going to get me to the next level?
Yes.
And the irony is, I think sometimes the more successful people are, the more coaches they have.
Yes. They do.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. It's absolutely. I just want to do a little follow up to this why and just break it apart a little bit more so people can understand it. So to get you guys as their coach, what's the phone number again?
Well, I think the best is to go to vitalscienceconsulting.com.au. Go to contact us, send us an email, and we'll get back to you.